To all our friends from Manhattan, Queens, and New Jersey, and across the street. You traveled very far to get here, so
very far.
Appreciate that, and coming to share the simcha with us. To Bonnie, who devotes countless hours to making sure that Ora and Adina have everything they need and get to all the places they need to get to, and your love and devotion to our family knows no bounds. So thank you. Thank you for being my life partner. Adina, you're always there with a smile and a hug and a kiss, and you've been as patient as any younger sister could be with all this preparations and parties and everything for the bat mitzvah, and it's not been easy. But don't worry, your day is it's coming up. It'll all be you. So, Mom and Dad, from the day Ora was born, I mean, you guys have been there for us 24/7, and I really appreciate that. Rabbi Knapp's not here, is he? I know he said he might stop in, but the teachers at Yavna have just been absolutely superb and really have nurtured Ora's curiosity, and so I'd like to acknowledge Rabbi Knapp and the folks at Yavna. And you will see Rabbi Knapp later. He's going to be in the video. So I'd like to thank the Atra of Beth Aaron, Rabbi Rothwachs. He is there for every member of the shul. He and his wife Chaviva are there for every member of the shul, 24/7. Teaneck has more shuls and regular minyanim per square mile than any place outside of Brooklyn or Jerusalem, and we're very fortunate to be associated with several of them. But we joined Beth Aaron not just because it's the closest shul, though that's a big advantage, but because of the many programs for youth, opportunities for learning, and the wonderful things that we heard and have now seen about his Mor D'Atra, Rabbi Lawrence Rothwachs, and his wife Chaviva. As we've gotten to know them personally as leaders of our shul, we're constantly amazed how, in addition to their other jobs and shul responsibilities, they find the time to minister to every possible need of every member and associate member of the shul. I don't know how you do it. And I don't know how you do it and maintain your sanity. But we, along with the entire Kahila, are very grateful, and we appreciate the time you recently spent with Ora. So, without further ado, Rabbi Rothwachs.
Thank you very much. It's a wonderful introduction. And thank you for that nice plug for Teaneck, outside of Jerusalem, Brooklyn. Actually, when this is all over, and you have some extra time, I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful city called Muncie. I think they have a few more shuls than we do.
I thought you were going to talk about Fairlawn.
Okay. When we read Sefer Bereshis, so we know that there are many individuals that we are introduced to, and it goes so fast, one week after another, so much to digest at once. And it's very hard to get a read on certain individuals, certain characters. There are, of course, the ones that we know, although we hope to learn and to appreciate and to have new perspectives each and every year. We know going into it that there are certain individuals that always have been and always will be the heroes, if you will, of the entire book of Bereshis. So when we talk about Avram and Yitzchak and Yaakov and Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, these names, so we know we can pick and we can look and see new things, but we know at the end of the day that they're going to come out on the A-list. And then there are individuals such as Esav and Lavan and the Dor HaMabul and other people that at the end of the day we can try to find something nice, but they're going to come out looking like not people that we're going to try to aspire to be like one day. But then there are those individuals that year after year, we read the stories, we try to get a grasp on who they are, and we find ourselves struggling to understand, who is this person? What is this person all about? And one such individual is certainly Lot. Lot is not someone who can just easily be labeled as a bad guy. It's not so simple to say Lot is a bad guy. But then again, he's clearly not one of the heroes of the Sefer. He's not one of the great people that we look up to and say, oh wow, after all, when was the last time you met someone named Lot? I don't know. A lot of Abrams around. I haven't met a Lot. I did have, when I was in second grade, I had a boy in my class named Nimrod, believe it or not. There are some Nimrods. But a Lot, I haven't met a Lot yet. So, obviously, no one's willing to take the plunge and say, oh, we're going to be like Lot. But if you look this morning, something very, very fascinating. The Torah tells us that Avram, he's an old man. He just survives a serious operation. He's sitting there in the sweltering heat. and he's standing out looking for guests. He sees guests on the horizon, and he runs after them, begging them to come to his house. He feeds them, he takes care of them, gives them a place to rest. And then one chapter later, we read the exact same description about Lot. He's sitting waiting at the gate of the city. He's looking in the horizon. He sees guests. He runs after them, begs them to come back to his house. He feeds them. He takes care of them. You know, but we never speak about the hospitality of Lot. We speak about the great hospitality of Avram. Why? So the truth is, I think what throws us off is when you read on a little bit. The Torah tells us that the neighbors of Lot didn't like what he was doing. They started knocking on the door and saying, "We want your guests, let them out." And Lot, all of a sudden, he has a real dilemma. On the one hand, he wants to be hospitable like his cousin Avram, but the neighbors don't like it. So without having time to think and to prepare for this moment, he does the most bizarre thing imaginable. He says to them, "Listen, my guests, they're staying with me, but if you want, I have 2 daughters inside, very nice ladies. You're welcome to have them. You can do whatever you want with them." This is what it says. So what is going on with Lot? I mean, is he serious? Why is it that he thinks that that's okay? I mean, does he not love his daughters like anyone else would, that he's willing to go ahead and just feed them to the angry, to the wild mob and crowd? And again, I don't think we're going to come to any major conclusions tonight, but I think if we try to understand what Lot is all about, Lot is a person who's searching. He's trying to do the right thing. And he's really, when you look at it, he's imitating Avram. He's following every single step that Avram does, and he's trying to do exactly precisely the same thing. And that's when he finds himself at this moment where he's not sure quite what to do, he thinks to himself, well, what would Avram do? So Avram, of course, he's so dedicated to his guests, he's so devoted to the mitzvah of Achnasat Orchim that, of course, he would do anything to keep his guests in here, but that's not necessarily so. Perhaps Avram would stop and he'd say, wait a second, what's the big picture over here? So Lot may be a person who is really searching and trying to do the right thing, but where he falls short is that he perhaps is putting too much emphasis on focusing, on copying and imitating other people. And Ora, where is Ora? Good. Oh, there you are. I believe, and I think that all that are here who know you would say as well, that one of the things that make you most unique, and there are many things that make you unique, but one of the things that make you most unique is that you are a very independent young woman. You are not someone who looks to copy everybody else and see what everybody else is doing. You're not going to imitate other people. You look at other people, you learn from them, you'll see what they have to offer, but at the end of the day, you're going to think for yourself. You're going to be your own person. I'll tell you something very interesting. When I have an opportunity to meet with the young men and women, and I ask them a series of questions, and we have a try to engage them in conversation. So after I see they're feeling a little exhausted after 20, 25 minutes of me asking questions, I say to them, okay, why don't you ask me a question? Now, 99% say, I have nothing to ask you. But every once in a while there are a few who say, okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions. And Ora, you're such an individual. I give you the floor. I say, oh, would you like to ask some questions? And she says yes. Because here's a very curious individual, a very independent mind, a very independent thinker who has questions. And it doesn't matter that maybe I do, maybe I don't feel a little intimidated sitting across from you. That doesn't matter. You offered me, and I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity to ask questions. It's a simple example, but I think it speaks volumes about who you are. And our bracha to you, Ora, is that you should always be independent. You should always have that sense of trust in yourself, your own judgment, but at the same time you should remember, as your father said, that what makes you great is your commitment not only to your family and not only to your heritage and to Torah, but to the values that you've developed together with them through your understanding and your appreciation of Torah. So our hope and prayer is that you should continue right along that path, continuing to learn and to grow and to deepen your roots as you continue to grow, but at the same time keeping your head up, your eyes open wide, exploring that very beautiful world around you and maintaining that very, very same wonderful degree of independence that you've always had, and hopefully you'll continue to be a source of nachas as you have been to the entire community, to your family of course, and all of Klal Yisrael for many years to come. Mazel tov.